Hi guys, I'm Darren and today we'll be checking out this awesome MudLED module. So what we have here is the MudLED module. Now if you've not heard MudLED before, I'll put some video footage up now, so while I'm having a talk about it, we can have a look at it as in action. So this is an LED module that's been devised by the guys at Dart over in New Zealand, and it's a Wi-Fi controllable LED module to use with the WS2812 type LEDs, so very addressable LED modules that you can get, and you'll be able to use this to make all sorts of crazy patterns, and I believe it can run up to 500 LEDs. And you can put it in anything. It doesn't need a flight controller or anything like that. So it's we thought we'd get some over in the Fixed Wings Rebels group. Our group buys just turned up, so we'll have a quick look at it. So what I'll do is I'll take it out and we'll have a quick look and a measure, and you'll see that it's a pretty small module. So if we focus, that's one side. You can see it's got a micro USB on one side, and then on the other side you have a Wi-Fi module with the antenna. So with this you can actually program it through pretty much anything. You connect to the device's Wi-Fi, and then you use a standard web browser to get on and modify. So it's completely smartphone independent, it's computer independent. If it's got Wi-Fi and a web browser, you can actually change the settings on this. So it's really, really good from that point of view. It runs on 5 volts. And you can actually, if your LEDs are 5 volts, you can continue with 5 volts out and power your LEDs through this. If you can use 12 volt LED strips, but you have to power them separately. You just hook up the signal to this board or the data line. So what I'll do is I'll put up a quick wiring diagram so we can see how this thing is actually connected up. So I'll put the links in the description, but it's basically muddart.nz/guide, and that will take you to the wiring diagram and the general guide for the module. So there's the RC groups thread, which they keep all the latest information. So if you need any help or have any suggestions, want to see what the latest firmware can do, the RC groups thread is the place to do it. There's a contact, so if you want to buy it or have any questions, you can contact. So this is the basic the wiring for this module. So let's make the picture a bit bigger. So if you are wiring it from a receiver, you have D2, which is your PWM out to switch the module on and off. I believe you could possibly switch modes with it. To be honest, I haven't read that far in yet. So, but that is at very least to switch it on and off. And then you can see 5 volt and ground, go to 5 volt and ground. And D4 is your data out to the LED strips. So, and if you're running a 12 volt strip, it's very similar. Just use the 5 volts in from the receiver to power the board, and use your 12 volt from a BEC or from a 3S LiPo to power the LED strips directly, and just bridge the 2 earths. That's all you need to do. D4 again is the data, and D2 is the PWM signal. So it's really straightforward. So there's all information here about how you can connect, and then how to actually connect to the Wi-Fi module itself. So there's MudLED on your Wi-Fi system, and then a web address of 192.168.4.1. You put that into your browser and it will come up with configuration. So what we'll do now is we'll head back to the desk and we'll wire up an LED system. Right, so we're back, and this is the module. The pins we want are on this side. So the writing on the Wi-Fi module is upside down, the antenna is on the right. So we have a 5 volt ground, D4, then we skip D3 and we have D2 pin. So let's get wiring up. So what I have, we have obviously the module. I have a small strip of LEDs that I've actually nicked out of an old S800. So we'll wire these up. This is just going to go straight into my L9R receiver via this old servo plug that I again nicked off of something else. So what we'll do, we'll get this soldered up quickly. As I say, it's really not rocket science, so I'll probably fast forward through this. Maybe I'll just show where everything's connected at the end, save boring you with simple stuff like soldering. There we go. So we have our D2, which is going out to the data in on the LED modules. We have D4, which is our in from the pulse width modulation on the receiver. We have a ground and we have 5 volts. So all we need to do is plug this into a channel. So channel 9, I don't think that's actually in use. Get those out of the way. Power the receiver. And I'll try and get that out of the way because it's an L9R. LEDs on here for status. Yeah, there's one LED there. I guess that's when the Wi-Fi is on. Right, so we're all in shot. I'm going to turn autofocus back on. Right, so we head over to the Taranis, which is not going to focus because, yeah, there we go. So this is just a junk model that I have. So we'll just set up a switch on here. Don't care what it's called. We'll just set it to switch SB. So there we go, our switch is working. That's all I'm doing is a switch on there, so we don't need to see that. Right, from reading the manual, by default the Wi-Fi is not enabled. So there's two ways of enabling it. You can either short pin D7 to ground, which D7 is just over here, and obviously the ground pin over here, or you can flick the receiver switch 5 times within 5 seconds. Right, so what I'm going to do is, because I don't actually have my Wi-Fi card configured, I'm going to get that set up and then we'll come back and continue. Sorry about that, guys. I completely forgot that I removed my Wi-Fi card to put in the capture card for this camera, so I'm going to have to come back to the tablet to show you how this works. So this is nice and simple to set up. As we saw, it's just 5 volt ground. The D4 goes to the data in on the LEDs, and then the PWM out goes to D2 on the module. So all we're going to do now is I'm just going to take my Taranis, flick this to the center and then back down 5 times, and what will happen is these LEDs will light up green, which shows that the Wi-Fi module is now enabled. So let's get the... There we go. Let's see if we can get this focus back on. All we need to do is refresh our Wi-Fi page. Sorry about the focus, guys. Let's just sort that. There we go, that's better. So what we can do is just connect to MudLED. There's no passwords or anything like that, so it just says connected. On Android it's quite nice, it comes up with sign into network, so you can just click on that and it will take you to the browser with the correct address. If you don't have that, you just need to go to the address that's in the MudLED guide, which is 192.168.4.1, and that will bring this screen up here. So this is the actual control for the module itself. So what we do to set up a basic thing, so we click on edit at the top, and that will bring up the edit page for the modes, and there are 16 different zones that we can set up. So however many LEDs you've got, you can divide that by 16, and each one can have its own pattern, that sort of thing going on. So just to show a quick thing, we'll set it on Comet, and then you just select which LEDs you want in that zone. So there's 20, I believe. Oh no, that's 28, so that's 16. So I've just selected the whole lot. So we've got our comet effect with the rainbow on all LEDs. You can choose different effects. So let's have a quick look at the effects. I'll speed up the duration. So let's make it 25, so it's a bit quicker. So we can just get an idea of what the effects look like. So I'll start from the top. We've got a chase. We have a scanner. We have a one-way scanner. We have a comet, which we've just seen. It's quite nice, actually. We have a wipe. Just solid color. Which at the moment that's obviously changing because it's rainbow, but if I set that to a single color, which you can type in the RGB values or you can use the slider, so that will just stay solid. I don't actually know what this offset is, so maybe we need to read the manual. But so we have solid, we have flash, and we have double flash, which would be handy for like navigation lights, that sort of thing, and we have pulse. So let's try the chase and see if offset does anything on here. It looks like it's leaving a bigger gap, so maybe let's set it to something quite big. No, it doesn't seem to have done it. We'll have to look in the manual, or I'll find out from Hamish what the offset does. So we can go forwards or backwards. So what we can do also, as I mentioned, we can set up different ranges. So if we set this to 4, it will only be the first 4 LEDs. So we can set that up as a chase. Then what we can do is we can set up zone 2, add our selected LEDs. We'll start on number 5, and we make this, I don't know, to LED 12. We could do a double flash. Then finally we could set up, we'll just do 3 zones for now. So this would start on LED 13 and go through to LED 16. So actually, yeah, 13 to 16. And if we set that up to our, what do we have on? Is it a scanner? So we had chase. So we'll set that up to chase as well. And we'll reverse it. Set that to 25, so they should go in opposite directions. And put that on rainbow as well. So that double flash is really slow. So there you go, there's a simple scheme. You can see how it can be really, really configurable, especially if you've got loads of LEDs. You can set up loads of zones. So if we save that, so it's rebooted the module. So the PWM position is actually indicated here. So I'm wondering if we can set up different LED modes per PWM. So yes, we can. Oh, that's even better. So we can we've just set up our number 1. So number 2, we could have something different. So we put that into position 2, edit. Wow, this thing is really customizable. I'm just going to do simple comet for the minute. So the only thing I'd like so far is if you've got nothing selected here, it just uses all of them, but I guess it doesn't know how many you've got. So set that to 16. I do like that so you can see which you've got. Right, so save that. And of course we can go back to the home, put it in our position 3, edit that. So yeah, as you can see, there's lots we can do with this. And of course, I've only set this up on a 3-position switch, but I guess there's no reason why you couldn't set the modes up on a slider or a potentiometer and have, I don't know how many you could have on the modes. What's it? 8. So yeah, you could set this up on a slider or a potentiometer and have 8 different modes. So that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. So if we save that, it will save it to the actual Dart unit itself. So yeah, awesome. So the only other thing that I've seen is this advanced tab. So I'm guessing you can put the name of your router and Wi-Fi in there to actually check for the updates on this module. So let me just try that a sec. Right, so all I've done is put the router details in there. Let's just try check for updates. So again, this may be something that I'll confirm with Hamish what it actually does, because it looks like it's just connected to my router. Which would make sense. I mean, it probably wouldn't be able to connect to 2 things at once, but that's the only thing I'll confirm. I can find all these things out. As I say, this is the first time playing with it. And you can see the potential it's got. So, other than anything, it's going to answer some questions for us potentially. But so that's one question I'll ask is, how do we update the firmware? But other than that, yeah, I'm going to call it a day there, because this thing looks absolutely awesome. What I will do is put links in the description for anyone else who might want to order one of these things. But compared to what you can do on like standard iNav stuff, this is so much better. And of course, if you wanted to have an off position, you'd just edit one of these, put nothing in it. So this one was only zone 1, so we'll reset that, save. So now in the middle position, it will be off. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, the RC groups is probably the best place to look, but if you leave a comment, I'll see what I can find out as well. But yeah, this is awesome. So this was really just an initial look and a first play with it. So yeah, I would highly recommend getting one of these modules, guys. They're absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys for watching. A like and a subscribe would be really appreciated if you enjoyed this video. If you click the notification bell, you'll see more videos turning up. And thank you guys. See you on the next one. Goodbye.